When we hear an expression of someone describing a person as God-fearing, what do they mean? Does it mean they are afraid of God? Well, before we get into this interesting topic, my desire is that the grace that exists in our Lord Jesus Christ may be with you all. In today's video, we'll examine in light of the scriptures what it actually means to have fear of God. You see, when someone fears God, it's not because they're scared or afraid. At least it shouldn't be like that. It's more of a respect, recognition, and a sense of reverence rather than a feeling of terror or panic. I say this because fear of God is a virtue that helps us do what is right in the eyes of our Lord, through wisdom, not apprehension. Why through wisdom? Well, because in the book of Job, chapter 28, verse 28, the man of God explains that fear of God is wisdom. In other words, to have fear of the Lord is to have an understanding of who God is and what He desires from us. King Solomon in Proverbs chapter 16 verse 6 tells us that by the fear of the Lord men depart from evil. We can say fear is to recognize that God is holy, and we as His people should conserve ourselves righteous before Him. We can also describe fear of God as an act of love because of the words spoken by King David in his Psalms chapter 103 verse 17 and the first verse of the chapter 112, where he explains the love of God towards those who walk in fear and those who fear God, finding a great delight in His commandments. So through fear of God we obey His commandments, not because we are scared of God, but out of love because we understand the value and blessing of God's closeness to us. Okay, now I'm curious to see what you think. Make sure to comment below any biblical verse you feel can help us understand more about the fear of God. One example that comes to my mind is of Joseph in the book of Genesis. Joseph declares himself a God-fearing man, and if we examine his story, we see multiple moments of suffering and pain. There's even a moment where temptation is placed before him, but we constantly see how he always places his trust in God, even when he is unfairly thrown in prison for something he never did. Now you tell me, he went through all of this without committing a sin because he was fearful in the sense of being afraid of God? No, that can't be right. It was because he loved and respected God so much that he wouldn't dare commit a sin and risk losing God's blessing. Joseph had a strong appreciation towards God. His delight was following God's will, and the result showed great reverence even when alone in the face of evil, because his trust was simply in the Lord. Now here's a thought. How can you trust someone when you're afraid of them? You simply can't. At least I won't, because trust isn't just given to anyone, especially if I'm afraid of them. Comment below if you agree. So, having fear of God is a bad thing? No, it's actually a very good thing. Everyone should seek this virtue because it enhances our blessings with God. It is also a demonstration of faith and reverence. It is an act of love because we place God's will before our own voluntarily. There are so many examples of righteous people in the Bible who all displayed this virtue, who were greatly blessed by God as well. Shouldn't we follow in their footsteps? I think we should. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and if you did, make sure to hit the like button. If you feel this video could help someone else better understand the fear of God, share it with them. And don't forget to subscribe if you would like to support and follow this channel. As always, God bless.